Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we're cracking open the Advanced Options Toolbox and pulling out a really interesting one, the put ratio spread. Now, this is a powerful strategy, one that can help you profit from a moderate drop in a stock, sometimes for almost no upfront cost. But, and this is a big but, it comes with a serious catch that you absolutely have to understand. So let's dive right in.
So here's what we're going to cover. First, we'll think about options trading as a whole toolbox full of specialized tools. Then we'll talk about how to match the right tool to the right market conditions. From there, we'll do our deep dive into the put ratio spread itself, and we are going to tackle its biggest challenge, that undefined risk. And finally, we'll wrap it all up with a simple framework you can use for your next trade.
You know, the biggest advantage of trading options, the thing that really sets it apart, is just its pure flexibility. I mean, with stocks, your choices are pretty simple, right? You either buy or you sell. But with options, oh man, you get this entire toolkit that lets you make a really specific bet on the market. You're not just saying, I think it's going up. You can trade its direction, its timing, and even how much you think it's going to move.
And that is the key right there. This flexibility is just incredible. You think the market is just going to chop around and go absolutely nowhere? Hey, there's a strategy for that. You think it's going to creep up, but just a little bit? Yep, there's a tool for that too. This power to perfectly tailor your trade to what you think is going to happen, that's what makes options so unique.
Okay, so all that flexibility is great, but it can also be, well, a little overwhelming, right? With dozens and dozens of strategies, how in the world do you know which one to pick at any given moment? That's a fantastic question, and the answer really starts with having a clear, simple process for making that decision. The thing is, your choice of strategies should never be random. It's not about just picking one out of a hat. No, it really boils down to a few key factors. First, and most obvious, what's your take on the market? Are you bullish, bearish, or totally neutral? Second, what's volatility up to? Is implied volatility, or IV, super high? Well, that might make selling options look pretty good. Is it low? Maybe buying options is the better play. And finally, you've got to be honest with yourself about your own comfort with risk, how much capital you have, and how much time you can actually spend watching the trade.
So when you put all of that together, you basically build yourself a kind of decision tree. Once you answer those key questions, the right type of strategy starts to become a lot clearer.
And this table here, it just lays it out perfectly. If you're feeling bullish, you might look at something like a cash-secured put or a bull put spread. On the flip side, if you think things are headed down, a bear call spread is a classic go-to. And for those really frustrating sideways markets where stock traders are pulling their hair out, well, you can use something like an iron condor to actually try and profit from that lack of movement. Let's just zoom in on two of those for a second. The bull put spread and the bear call spread. They're pretty much mirror images of each other. See, they're both credit spreads, which means you get paid a premium to put them on, and they both have defined or limited risk. The only real difference is your gut feeling about direction. It's a perfect example of picking the right tool for your specific view of the market. All right, with that foundation in place, let's zoom in and get to the main event today, a more advanced tool for a very specific scenario, the put ratio spread. So what exactly is a put ratio spread? Well, think of it as the perfect tool for when you think the market's going to fall, but not crash. You're looking for a controlled, moderate move to the downside. And the big draw? The main appeal? You can often set the whole thing up for a very low cost. Sometimes you can even get a small credit to open the trade. So how do you actually build one of these? It's pretty simple, just two steps. First, you buy one put option. This is usually at the money or even a little bit in the money. That's your bearish bet. Now, to help pay for that put, you then sell two put options at a lower strike price. Those are out of the money. That extra premium you collect from selling two options instead of one, that's the secret sauce that can bring the cost of the trade way down, sometimes even to zero. Now, if we look at the profile here, you can see it's for a mildly bearish view, and it's definitely considered an advanced strategy. But I want your eyes to go straight to one word on this table, undefined. That's right. That super low entry cost, it comes with a massive trade-off, and we have to talk about what that really means. And that brings us to the most critical part of this whole discussion. You really can't even think about trading this strategy without fully 100% understanding the risks. So let's break down exactly what undefined risk means in this context. Undefined risk. It means your potential loss is not capped. There is no safety net. If this trade goes horribly wrong, your losses can become substantial. Unlike a regular spread where you know your exact maximum loss before you even click the button, with this strategy, one side of the trade is just completely exposed to a massive drop.
Take a look at this chart. This shows a typical defined risk spread. See how that loss line on the bottom just flattens out? That's your capped maximum loss. It can't get any worse than that. Now with a put ratio spread, I want you to imagine that floor isn't there. It's gone. If the stock just keeps crashing past your sold strike price, that loss line just keeps going down and down and down, and your losses can accelerate really, really fast.
So where does this crazy risk actually come from? Well, it all goes back to selling 2 puts when you only bought 1. See, the first sold put is covered by the put you bought. That makes a standard spread. But that second sold put, it's out there all by itself. It's a naked put. And if the stock price blows right past that strike, you are on the hook. That's why this is an advanced strategy. This is absolutely not a set it and forget it kind of trade. It demands your attention and a very clear risk management plan.
Okay, that was pretty intense. Let's zoom back out. We've looked at the big picture framework, and we've done a deep dive on one very specific, very complex tool. So how do we put all this together to make smarter choices on our next trade?
It really all comes down to a simple pre-trade checklist. Before you even think about pulling up an options chain, just ask yourself these 3 questions. 1. What is my specific view on the market? 2. What is volatility telling me right now? And 3, and this is the big one, what is my maximum acceptable loss? Just deciding upfront if you're willing to even consider undefined risk will immediately narrow down your choices and point you toward the right strategy for you. At the end of the day, that's what options trading is all about. It's about listening to what the market is telling you and then reaching into your toolbox and picking the perfect instrument to express your opinion. Every single strategy has its place, its ideal conditions, and its own risks. Your job is to match the right tool to the task at hand. Thanks for joining me.